If a war between the United States and Venezuela ever began, it wouldn't start with soldiers on the ground. It would start in silence. No warning. No announcement. Just sudden movement, aircraft lifting off, radar screens lighting up, and decisions made in seconds that could change an entire region forever. In the first half hour, most people wouldn't even realize a conflict had begun. But militaries would. This is not speculation or hype. This is how modern warfare actually unfolds. U.S. military command shifts from routine monitoring to active alert. Fighter jets already positioned in the region are placed on immediate readiness. Surveillance aircraft expand their patrol zones, watching every movement across Venezuelan airspace and surrounding waters. At the same time, Venezuelan air defenses move into a heightened state. Radar systems sweep the skies more aggressively. Airbases prepare for rapid response, knowing that the first moments of a conflict often decide its outcome. There are no explosions yet. No dramatic headlines. Just pressure. Within minutes, U.S. naval assets adjust their positions in international waters. Not to attack, but to control. Control airspace, control sea lanes, control information. In modern conflict, dominance is established before the first shot is fired. Venezuela faces a critical challenge here. Its strategy isn't about overpowering the United States, that's impossible. Instead, it's about endurance, deterrence, and making every move costly. Meanwhile, global intelligence agencies are watching closely. Neighboring countries feel the tension immediately. Oil markets react. Diplomatic backchannels go quiet as military ones grow louder. This is the moment where everything can still stop. Or spiral. And what happens next depends on a single question. Who makes the first irreversible move? Airspace becomes the battlefield, not through explosions, but through presence. U.S. surveillance aircraft tighten their patterns, tracking every aircraft that lifts off, every radar signal that changes frequency. Fighter jets move closer, not crossing borders, but close enough to send a message: we are watching everything. This is psychological pressure at its most effective. For Venezuela, this hour is about survival through calculation. Scrambling jets too early risks exposing positions. Waiting too long risks losing control of the skies. Every decision must balance deterrence against vulnerability. Missile defense systems are activated, but not fired. This restraint is intentional. In modern warfare, the first missile rarely targets cities. It targets confidence. Both sides understand that once missiles launch, escalation becomes almost impossible to control. Naval forces continue repositioning. Not aggressively, strategically. Sea routes near Venezuela.
Gentlemen, the situation has escalated. We must act now to secure the target.
Insurance rates spike. Global markets take notice. Inside military command rooms, analysts debate one question repeatedly. Is this still signaling, or the final step before action? For the United States, dominance is built through layers: air, sea, and information. For Venezuela, the objective is uncertainty. If the stronger power cannot predict your response, its advantage weakens. Diplomatic lines flicker back to life, but the tone has changed. These are no longer discussions. They are warnings wrapped in formal language. The first hour ends without a single strike. But the danger has multiplied. Because now, both sides are fully engaged. And the margin for error has almost vanished. By the second hour, the situation becomes unstable, not because of visible attacks, but because invisible lines are being crossed. Electronic signals fill the battle space. Radar systems experience interference. Communication networks are tested, probed, and quietly disrupted. This is cyber pressure, and it is deliberate. For the United States, this phase is about mapping. Identifying defensive gaps, response times, and command reliability. No missiles are launched, but many are prepared. Their presence alone alters every calculation on the ground. Venezuela responds carefully. Mobile missile systems shift locations, avoiding predictable patterns. Air defense units limit transmissions, reducing their electronic footprint. Survival now depends on remaining unseen as much as remaining armed. This hour is defined by restraint under stress. One misinterpreted radar contact. One malfunctioning signal. One decision made too quickly. Any of these could trigger irreversible escalation. Naval forces maintain distance but tighten control. Aircraft carriers operate beyond visible range, projecting power without exposure. Submarines, unseen and unheard, become silent factors shaping every strategic decision. Inside command centers, fatigue begins to show. Officers know that prolonged tension degrades judgment. The longer this standoff lasts, the more dangerous it becomes. International reaction intensifies. Emergency meetings are called. Allies demand clarity. Markets react sharply. The world now understands that this is no routine military exercise. Still, no missile flies. Because both sides know what comes next. Hour 3 will force a decision. Either to de-escalate, or to cross the point of no return. By the third hour, the balance of power becomes unmistakably clear. The United States does not rush. It narrows the space. Air superiority is asserted not through combat, but through control. U.S. fighter jets rotate in layered patrols, ensuring continuous presence. Surveillance aircraft maintain uninterrupted coverage. The message is precise: every movement is seen, every option limited. For Venezuela, this hour exposes a harsh reality. Defensive systems are still intact, but the freedom to maneuver is shrinking. Aircraft launches become rare, cautious, and brief. The sky feels crowded, even when it looks empty. Neighboring nations react immediately. Airspaces tighten. Military forces across the region shift into precautionary alert. This is no longer a bilateral standoff, it is a regional event. Oil routes feel the pressure. Shipping companies reroute vessels. Energy markets spike again. The consequences of this confrontation are now being felt far beyond military circles. Inside Venezuela's command structure, strategy shifts from deterrence to preservation. The goal is no longer to challenge air dominance, but to survive it. Every system saved is leverage for later negotiations. For the United States, restraint remains intentional. A strike is still unnecessary. Control achieves the objective without triggering international backlash. But time is not neutral. As hours pass, miscalculation becomes more likely. Fatigue deepens. Political pressure mounts. Leaders face a narrowing set of options, all of them costly. By the end of hour 3, the question is no longer who has the advantage. It is how long restraint can last. Before momentum demands action. By the 4th hour, the conflict begins to shift inward. For Venezuela, the pressure is no longer only military, it is psychological and political. Continuous aerial monitoring creates a sense of encirclement. Commanders must reassure their forces while knowing that options are narrowing with every passing minute. Civil aviation is disrupted. Airports delay flights. The population senses that something serious is unfolding, even if no official announcement has been made. Uncertainty spreads faster than fear. Inside government circles, difficult conversations begin. Military leaders assess how long defensive readiness can be sustained. Political leaders consider the cost of escalation versus the cost of appearing weak. Neither choice offers a clean outcome. For the United States, hour 4 is about consolidation. Air and naval dominance is now established. The challenge is no longer capability, but consequence. Every potential action is weighed against international reaction, regional stability, and long-term strategic goals. Diplomatic channels intensify. Messages are delivered through intermediaries. Language becomes sharper, but still controlled. This is crisis diplomacy, pressure without provocation. Allies watch closely. Some offer quiet support. Others urge restraint. No one wants this confrontation to cross into open conflict, yet no one wants to appear unprepared if it does. Global markets respond again. Energy prices fluctuate. Investors react to uncertainty, not violence. The world understands that even without a single strike, this standoff already carries economic weight. By the end of hour 4, both sides face the same truth. Maintaining tension is becoming as dangerous as breaking it. What happens next will define whether this crisis becomes a warning or a turning point. By the 5th hour, reality overtakes momentum. Both sides understand a simple truth: escalation no longer offers control, only consequences. The military pressure has achieved its primary purpose. Power has been demonstrated. Limits have been tested. Now, restraint becomes the objective. U.S. forces maintain their positions, but movement slows. Surveillance continues, yet patterns soften. This is not weakness, it is signaling. A message that dominance does not require destruction. Inside Venezuela, the focus shifts to stabilization. Defensive systems remain active, but commanders recognize that survival depends on preventing a trigger event. A single misstep could undo hours of careful calculation. Behind closed doors, diplomatic channels finally take precedence. Words replace maneuvers. Conditions are discussed. Red lines are clarified. No one claims victory, because claiming victory risks reopening the crisis. The world exhales, cautiously. Markets begin to settle. Regional airspaces reopen gradually. Tension remains, but the immediate danger fades. This confrontation will be analyzed for years, not for what happened, but for what did not. And that raises the final question. Who really loses in a confrontation like this? Not just the weaker side. Not just the one under pressure. Everyone loses something: trust, stability, certainty. Because modern warfare does not begin with explosions. It begins with systems, signals, and seconds. And the closer those seconds come to zero, the higher the cost becomes for all involved.